Welcome to the Sustainable Strawhat podcast. Each conversation will take you one step further towards saving the planet or finding the one piece. We will explore tangible tips, tricks, and methods on an eco-conscious lifestyle and environmental conservation.
Along with episodes focused on the One Piece series with chapter reviews, theories, and discussions. Our aim is to inspire you to take care of yourself and the planet.
Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in to the Sustainable Strawhat podcast. My name is Liv.
Yo, it's Los.
This is our first episode revolving our environment and what actionable things we can all do to break free from plastic.
We will show you the destructive life cycle of plastic from beginning to end.
Today we are especially talking about single-use plastics. There is an overwhelming amount of different things we can talk about plastic, like how it is used in fashion, electronics, waste management systems, or top plastic packaging polluting companies, but we can save each of those convos for another day. Try to say that 3 times fast, Lois. Plastic packaging polluting companies.
Plastic packaging polluting companies. Plastic packaging. Take a moment and think of every single plastic you have used is still on this planet today.
Okay, now don't bear all that plastic waste on your shoulders, because Los and I got some great alternatives that can help you live more plastic free on your sustainable journey. Let's go back to the birthplace of plastics and see how it's made.
Yes. 99% of plastics are made from raw materials like natural gas, oils, or plants, which are refined into ethane and propane. These chemicals are then treated with heat in a process which turns them into fossil fuels. If you want the chemical term, ethylene, propylene. These materials are combined together and may be shaped when soft and then hardened to retain the given shape.
Single-use plastics are any form of plastic you use one time. That can be any packaging, bottles, all bottles, not just water bottles. They are soda bottles, sport drink bottles, takeout containers, silverware, straws and cups, Q-tips, diapers, menstrual care,
bags, balloons with string, gloves, wrappers, coffee pods, and cigarette butts.
So after we throw all those items away, the garbage picks them up and it's off. We imagine it goes into a large hole in the ground, the landfill, but we don't know the effects it's causing of the trash or how long it stays there. Does it ever dissolve back to the ground or vanish into the air? Specifically, does plastic ever biodegrade or decompose?
Plastic never decomposes, Liv, biodegrades, or composts. It just breaks down into smaller and smaller pieces, known as microplastics, when it becomes less than 5 millimeters. So each plastic you have recycled or thrown away that wasn't properly taken care of has been either incinerated, landfilled, or winded up in the environment somewhere, each of which produces greenhouse gas emissions.
If it's out of sight, it's out of mind, right? That is the mindset we all have, but if we actually had to live with our trash for, let's say, a month, we would actually see how much we are producing and probably be unhappy that our own home is flooded with garbage, but actually, we're just flooding someone else's home.
Is it single use if the plastics are recycled?
Yes, it is still a single-use plastic even if you put an item in the recycle bin, because in fact, only 8% of plastics that are recycled actually get recycled in the US, with the average American producing more than 2,072 pounds of waste and 231 pounds of plastic per year. Honestly, I think it's way more plastic than that, depending on how much an individual purchases. It's all about being a conscious consumer. Around the world, 1 million plastic drinking bottles are purchased every minute,
while up to 5 trillion single-use plastic bags are used worldwide every year. The US produces 300 million tons of plastic every year, and 50% of that is single use. We have the most plastic waste per capita globally.
50% of 300 million tons. If plastic production and use grow as currently planned by 2030, which is in 9 years, these emissions could reach 1.34 gigatons per year, equivalent to the emissions released by more than 295 new 500 megawatt coal-fired power plants. And if that doesn't make sense to you, just know it's real bad. By 2050, these greenhouse gas emissions from plastic could reach over 56 gigatons. That's 10 to 13% of the entire remaining budget. Guess what? There's only about 9% of that budget left.
The carbon budget is an estimate of the maximum amount of greenhouse gases that can be released into the atmosphere and still keep warming limited to a specified level. The world should be, and some are striving to stay below the 1.5 Celsius degree threshold.
The Mercator Research Institute on Global Commons and Climate Change has a carbon clock countdown that tells you how long is left until the CO2 budget is depleted. So as of this recording, there are 6 years, 11 months, and 9 days left. This is a huge deal. That's why I always say the future is now. These next few years are so crucial to the environment.
Plastic pollution creates problems for ecosystems, animals, plants, wildlife, and us humans. Plastic pollution also leads to groundwater, air, and land pollution. According to the November 2020 report of Oceana, a nonprofit dedicated to protecting and restoring the world's ocean on a global scale, their data shows that 11 million metric tons of plastic end up in our ocean every year. Microplastic in the oceans may also interfere with the ocean's capability to absorb and sequester carbon dioxide.
Microscopic plants, phytoplankton, and animals, zooplankton, play a critical role in the biological carbon pump that captures carbon at the ocean surface and transport it into the deep oceans, preventing it from re-entering the atmosphere. Around the world, these plankton are being contaminated with microplastic. Laboratory experiments suggest that plastic pollution can reduce the ability of phytoplankton to fix carbon through photosynthesis.
There is a vortex of collected garbage, debris, and litter in the North Pacific Ocean that is 3 times the size of Texas or twice the size of France. That is known as the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. This isn't an island of trash. Instead, the debris spread across the surface of water and all the way to the ocean floor.
Plastics have an extreme impact on our marine life. Many animals eat these plastics and aren't able to survive because they are being poisoned, most of which are already threatened with extinction. An easy recommendation is a documentary on Netflix called A Plastic Ocean, where you will see the environmental impacts of microplastics and see how much plastic animals eat and feed to their babies.
It only takes one piece of plastic ingested to cause or be a contributor of death. These animals don't know better, but we do. When animals become entangled in plastic, they can drown, choke to death, or suffer physical trauma, such as amputation and infection. Entanglement can also lead to malnutrition when it prevents their ability to feed properly. You can report marine animals in distress. Visit the NOAA Fisheries website for the local animal stranding organization in your area, or fisheries.noaa.gov/report. Researchers found that 94,000 microplastics per second float down the Thames River in Europe, which then connects to our oceans.
If that ends up into our oceans, that means for those who eat seafood end up eating 1/3 of contaminated food because it contains microplastics, and 90% of plastic water bottles also have a presence of microplastics according to the World Health Organization. Like I briefly mentioned earlier, plastics and textiles, that fabric is on our skin and we are absorbing that synthetic plastic. Also, disposable face masks are medical waste and a single-use plastic. Please use cloth face masks instead, and as much as possible. Plastic can be in the air we breathe.
The number one tip for being a conscious consumer is to buy less and think more when you shop and use the things you already have. So after you use the rest of your plastic products, swap them out. There are tons of options out there.
Take a good look at all the plastic bottles in your bathroom, from shampoo, makeup, toothpaste tubes, toothbrushes, skincare, to hand soap and travel-sized beauty products. Now, that is not a single-use plastic, but that is just showing you that plastic is all around you, and you can change that with a simple change in your mind. To all the women listening, look at your menstrual products, pads, and tampons. You can swap those for menstrual cups or period panties, and for your babies, change those plastic toys, diapers, and bottles for safer, eco-friendly options. You can use biodegradable or cloth diapers.
If you have a collection of plastic bags, like I do in the kitchen drawer, instead of buying plastic trash bags, use those bags instead. Reach for an aluminum can of soda rather than the plastic bottle, or buy a glass bottle. And when you're done drinking the soda, you can turn that bottle into a vase. Getting a soda maker can reduce the amount of bottles and is an alternative to in-store bought beverages. Please use water dispensers instead of plastic bottles. Your refrigerator may come with one.
If you have a coffee maker, you can also get reusable filters and pods. Store items in a glass container or Tupperware rather than plastic. You can get reusable Ziploc bags and beeswax wraps to replace saran wrap. Make it a habit to use your reusable items in your daily life, such as your stainless steel water bottle, cutlery, bags, and remember to take these items with you. I have a great reusable bag that folds into a small pouch and it's super sturdy, so I use them for everything. I also carry my water bottle wherever I go. Alright everybody, listen up. An actionable thing you can achieve that is so important to your health and the planet is stop smoking cigarettes. You're harming the earth and your body.
Another step you can take is to ask to use your own cup or containers when getting takeout when available, whether that be a drink at a tea place or fried rice from your favorite restaurant. I have done this at my local tea place, but haven't asked for my takeout to be put in my own container. Avoid drink stirrers. I don't understand why these exist, and bread clips aren't really needed. Individually packaged items like snacks and candy, you may be able to find them at a bulk store, or you can create your own snacks, or find a new snack to try that is packaged in anything other than plastic.
Decorate with plants and flowers rather than balloons. There's also also a laundry ball or filter that catches microfibers that shed off your clothing in the washing machine that can help reduce the amount of microfiber pollution. You can also replace laundry and cleaning products with low waste alternatives with detergent strips or cleaning tablets. The great thing about striving for greener products is that they are going to be not only healthier for the planet but for yourself. Most eco products don't have harmful chemicals, dyes, and plastics. Do this for you.
Let's say you refuse giving into your craving for a takeout coffee on Monday, but then next Monday you get the coffee. That's great because you took the measure the first week and said no.
Every little bit counts, and you should feel proud for taking any measures. Now perhaps next time you want that coffee, try making it at home because you will not produce much plastic waste, you will save money, and you'll lower your carbon emissions since you're not driving to get that frappuccino.
If you don't already have products you can reuse, get excited about your upcoming purchases. Maybe get yourself an eco-friendly bundle or set so you can also revamp your kitchen, bathroom, or household with reusable items. That way you can make better choices at home. DIYs are always an option too for more ideas and creativity. Eco-friendly gifts are also awesome to spread awareness to your friends and family, and you can feel great about giving it too. Speaking of gifts, instead of giving plastic gift cards, print it out or send them the e-gift card, yo.
I got gifted a Starbucks gift card, and on the gift card it says recyclable. When I was done using the Starbucks gift card at Starbucks, the clerk said, "Do you want me to throw this away?" And I asked, "Do you guys recycle the gift cards?" He said, "No, we just throw them away." This was at 2 separate Starbucks locations. I emailed Starbucks and talked to their customer service about why they are choosing to put recyclable on their gift cards but not practicing it in store. So I called Starbucks out. And that's what you guys can do, is call people out when you see it's wrong. Now that we talked a little bit about what you can do, let's see what others are doing and their recent plastic innovations. A bakery in Tasmania called Crips has started using cardboard bread clips rather than plastic ones. In India, they have brought back coal hats to 7,000 railway stations. Coal hats are clay cups with no handles, paint, or glaze, and are biodegradable. This replaces plastic cups, helping India strive to their single-use plastic-free country, and it also gives employment and income to potters. Now, I already mentioned I called out Starbucks. Well, Greenpeace just called out Walmart. Walmart, being the largest retailer in the US, has committed to 100% recyclable, reusable, or industrially compostable packaging in its in-house private brand label by 2025. But that is not the case. They are just greenwashing.
Greenwashing is when a company or organization markets and promotes themselves as environmentally friendly, but in fact, they're just lying. Greenpeace is suing Walmart over its false and misleading recyclable labels on throwaway plastic. Walmart's common plastics labeled recyclable are actually not recyclable. 170 nations have pledged to significantly reduce use of plastics by 2030. Countries like Bangladesh have prohibited traditional plastic bags due to jamming of sewage pipes and causes flooding.
Canada will ban 6 types of plastic, mainly single-use, such as plastic bags, straws, and cutlery by the end of 2021. Germany has also banned single-use plastic bags, straws, cotton buds, food containers, and cutlery in 2021. It also prohibits the sale, supply, and distribution of those single-use plastics.
South Australia aims to curb the microplastic pollution by banning the manufacture and sale of oxo-degradable plastic, which is plastic that has an additive which helps it break down more.
Regular plastic is harmful, and you just said oxo-degradable is a no-go. So what about bioplastics?
Well, bioplastics are a type of biodegradable plastic derived from biological substances, plants, rather than from petroleum. There are 2 types of bioplastics. Neither is widely used because they simply don't compare to the strong, light, versatile, clear, and inexpensive traditional plastic. They cost substantially more. The global plastic market is worth 1.2 trillion, and bioplastics have a market share of 9 billion. They are used in agriculture, textile industry, medicine, and growing in the container and packaging market. Bioplastics reduce carbon footprinting, provide energy savings in production.
Bioplastics are only 100% degradable and compostable if the plastic is collected and composted in a carefully controlled, high-temperature industrial composting facility. So if bioplastics end up in landfills, they can last for centuries and release methane, just like a regular plastic. So unfortunately, as of right now, bioplastics aren't the solution for the world's plastic problem.
If plastic, glass, and aluminum went to war, who would win the title towards the best option for single-use bottles?
Plastic is a natural gas bonded by chains from drilling for oil. It destroys the environment and contaminates ecosystems. Greenhouse gas emissions from plastic threaten the life cycle and ability of the global community to keep global temperature rise below 1.5 degrees Celsius. Plastic is rarely recycled, more like downcycled, because each time it is created into something different, it loses quality. Plastic also has a high carbon footprint when it comes to manufacturing and is energy intensive.
Glass is liquefied sand, and manufacturing is energy intensive. They're heavy to transport and is fragile. Glass bottles are 100% recyclable and can be recycled endlessly without loss of quality. An estimated 80% of recovered glass containers are made into new glass bottles. Once you toss your glass bottle into the recycle bin, manufacturers can have it back on the shelves in 30 days. Plus, when using recycled glass when making new glass bottles, reduces the manufacturer's carbon footprint. Furnaces may run at a lower temperature when recycled glass is used because it is already melted down to the right consistency. It is also non-toxic, free from potentially harmful chemicals, and generally not associated with negative impact to your health.
New aluminum cans are made from bauxite. This process scrapes a pit into the ground and leaves the environmental destruction behind. It contributes to habitat loss, increased erosion, and water contamination. Aluminum cans are completely recyclable and are commonly recycled worldwide. And like glass, aluminum cans can be recycled repeatedly with no limit. Some argue if you can find aluminum cans made from 100% recycled materials, they should be your top choice when shopping for single-serving beverages. Glass comes in second because of their high transportation footprint.
Since many food takeouts or to-go containers are plastic and are usually hot when you get them or heated later on, is it harmful to heat food in plastic?
Studies have found that certain chemicals in plastic can leak out of plastic into food and beverage for consumption. These are considered to be low-dose chemical exposures. If occur repeatedly over long periods of time, effect adds up, leading to a variety of health dilemmas, metabolic disorders, obesity, and reduced fertility and cancers.
The leaking is prone to occur at even faster rate and greater degree when plastic is exposed to heat, turning that afterthought of heating up your leftovers into a new decision. Fatty foods, particularly meats and cheeses, absorb high amounts of the chemicals. BPAs and phthalates are substances that interfere with our hormones, and it's estimated that 93% of Americans ages 6 and up had phthalates in their urine. The FDA have deemed some plastics safe, still a good recommendation for not heating foods in plastics. There is another study that finds liquids stored in plastic bottles that are exposed to heat and sunlight pass chemicals into the liquid. No, we won't bash just plastic. Acidic foods like tomatoes can absorb chemicals from the linings of food cans. Vinyls or plastic used at home or offices release gases, putting measurable amounts of phthalates into the air over time. Like we said countless times, plastic is everywhere. Avoid heating foods in plastic containers. Skip packaging. When possible, opt against buying plastic products.
Since it will be difficult to break free from plastic, when you do have it, recycle anything you can and make sure you check with your local recyclers on what you can and can't recycle in your area. I highly encourage you to take the time into this and look for that information and spread it around in your community. I just found out that you're not supposed to put recyclables in a bag. They need to be loose. I would use old grocery bags and put recyclable items in them, tie them up and put them in the recycling bin. But I was incorrect this whole time. Knowledge is power, and I took action right away when I learned. A very important and free thing you can all do to help this plastic problem is demand companies stop producing plastic waste and have them take responsibility for the pollution they are causing. Insist companies to offer plastic-free options. You can post on social media, write a review, call or email the company, or talk to an in-store manager. If you stop buying it, the companies will stop making it. We need to pass policies to reduce the production and use of single-use plastics, replacing inadequate regulation, changing business models, and introducing incentives leading to the reduced production of plastics is something every company and business must do.
You can vote, you can sign petitions. National, state, federal, and local government agencies need to improve standardization and require reporting of all plastic interaction cases. Laws need to be implemented that are vital to monitoring, maintaining, and restoring the health of vulnerable marine animal population. If nothing changes, the amount of plastic entering the ocean is projected to triple by 2040.
Another thing is, if you see trash on the floor, please pick it up. It may not be your trash, but it is your planet. Remember to bring your reusable bottle and bags with you. It's okay, I still forget mine too sometimes, but I will hold all of my groceries in my hands until I get to my car. Thank you for tuning in today to learn more about single-use plastics and how harmful they all are to us. Plastic pollution affects everyone and the environment, and I hope you take action with what's available to you with any tips we shared with you today.
Once you invest in reusable bottles and silverware, or really anything reusable, you won't have to invest in those much again. It is a win-win. For the bigger plastics, use what you have at home now. And then, when it's time to buy new, think carefully about your choices.
You just took in a lot of information. Do not bear the burden of waste or global destruction. If you take away anything from this episode, each conscious action you take as an individual will amount to great change. Nevertheless, governments have the power to implement legislation that compels industries and individuals to act sustainably. We need to hold governments to their responsibilities first and foremost.
Again, all efforts make great impacts. Fight the convenience of single-use plastics.
Fight the fossil fuel industry, and follow us on Instagram at Sustainable Strawhats. This is Liv Los, the Sustainable Strawhats.
Setting sail.